Flosstube, this is Kim. I am back again with a weekly update for Flosstube number 32. This is the 2nd of September, so welcome to September. My lighting is a little bit different today because we currently have thunderstorms today, and so I have a floor light that's kind of like an ot light across from me. So hopefully that'll be enough light to see everything by. But things might look a little different. And I just can't look up there because it's really bright. So, alright, you see the title of my video. Hopefully the screenshot shows you I met my goal. I got Camelot finished before, on the very last day of the month. So I met my August finish goal. I'm very happy about that. And I feel good about the way it looks. It's incredible. But at the same time, it's like, okay, what's next? What can I work on next? So you'll see Camelot. First, we're going to kind of go in order, the order of what I worked on things. So for homework last week in the School of Magical Stitches, it was the Mystery Week. Yes. 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 Sorry. There's been so much going on. It was the mystery week where you didn't know which order they were going to, or which whip they were going to pull out of the 5 that you listed on your post. Ravenclaws got pulled for number 1, which was my Hogwarts travel poster, which looks like this. 17 different shades of blue, and I was down here on the lake. And so I did 1,010 stitches for 500 full cross stitches. I filled in this spot of the lake that I had outlined. So I filled that in, and then I started on this cliff right here. So that was 1,010 stitches. And then you got extra points if you put in 200 stitches each on your other whips that were with one of the 5 listed on your post. So I also had Camelot, of course, and I had McIntosh Mill because I still had to finish by the numbers for August on that one. So I got the 200 each on those. So I didn't get the bonus points for every single whip because there was 2 that I didn't work on. But I at least got some bonus points for those. Alright, Camelot was the next thing I worked on because after I finished Hogwarts travel poster, that took me 2 days. So Wednesday, it was time to buckle down and work on this to see if I could get it done. So this is the only thing I worked on. Or no, it's not. I put in, Wednesday and Thursday, I put in 100 stitches each day on McIntosh Mill. Just to give me a little bit, so I at least got the bonus points. And then I worked the rest of the day on this. So I finished it up. There's what it looks like. You can compare it here in a second to the final product. I wrote it down. Monday, I did 350 stitches. Tuesday, I did 450 stitches. Wednesday, I did 400 stitches. Thursday, I did 400 stitches. Friday, I did 640 stitches because my husband had the day off, so I had more stitchy time. Saturday, the day I finished it, I finished the jousting with 172 stitches, and I had to put in 33 beads. And then I didn't count just the few stitches of backstitch to put in initials and date. So, it is done. Got it here. If you saw it, I posted it all over Facebook and Instagram. So there it is. She's done. I'll give you a close up here in a minute. Alright. So there's your Green Knight completely finished. You get lots of color changes for his blue shirt over his armor and his violet cape. and the plumage. So there's your Green Knight. And then I did all the beads in the border down here. I had one bead here, and a bead here. And then using the alphabet they provided, my initials and the date. So there she is. She's all done. Okay, so stats on this. I'm just going to hold it back here and hopefully I will get a screenshot. Stats on this is I started this in the fall of 2014 before I started keeping track. Keeping track of the days that I worked on a piece. So I first started keeping track of the days after I discovered Flosstube in April 2016. So starting with Mania 2016, I started tracking days. Counting all those days from Mania 2016 to now, I've worked on this 111 days. That doesn't seem like a heck of a lot. I did not have, so I think around when I first started tracking days, I had the border up to here all the way. I had this done, the castle medallion done, and this done. And I think I may have had this section outlined, maybe a little bit started, but so everything else after that was 111 days to fill in all three blocks here, the joust scene, to actually finish the border all the way up here. I think it was somewhere around 76 days worked on this in 2019 alone. So that goes to show you, once you actually pick the piece up and make a commitment to work on it, you can get things done. So that was my hardest problem with this one. Okay, so I started it before I was pregnant with my youngest. So then I had, 2 young children to care for, which meant less stitchy time because I didn't stitch for the first 5 months after giving birth to my second. So that's 5 months gone. And then, of course, I'm not going to pick the hard stuff to work on. So 111 days since Mania 2016. This is 28 count Monaco. I don't know if they call the color ivory or antique white or cream. It's an off-white. It's not a stark white. So it almost matches. Let me focus. So there's 4-sided stitch on either side of that knotwork in the ecru pearl floss. So it's about the color of ecru. And behind this lattice work behind each portrait, and across here and down there's some stitches. So it's about the color of ecru fabric. So, all right, my arm's getting tired. Do you want to see the back? Here's the back. Focus. Yeah, so jumping around, you'll see I did carry threads both in the border and lazy daisies and in the 1/1 section. You can see I beaded with ecru, so that's what you see trailing down. So the craziness of the twisted vine section 1/1. So there's my back. I don't think it looks too bad, but again, I don't care. What I'm going to do with this, I don't have any local needlework stores, so I'm going to talk to the framing folks at Hobby Lobby, because we do not have a Michaels locally. Ask them how they frame their needlework. Ask them if they can do a 5-sided frame. So I want, I want the frame to echo the shape of the piece. And I may have them frame a different piece before I trust with this one, just to see how happy I am with them. I'd have to do that soon, because my second option is to roll this up in like a mailing tube and hand carry it with me when I fly to Louisiana the end of September to go see my horse, and I can have the local needlework shop down there frame it, because they've framed a whole bunch of things of mine when I lived down there, and they do amazing work. That's Knots and Needles in Bossier City. So we'll see. But I definitely want to get that one framed. I don't want it languishing, you know, in the closet waiting. So, and then, all right, so I did the 200 stitches Wednesday and Thursday on McIntosh Mill. And then Saturday, after I finished Camelot, I still had the whole evening where I could stitch. And so I stitched more on McIntosh Mill because I still haven't completed my August by the numbers. Right now I'm at 1450 out of 2400. So there's McIntosh Mill, and I'm working over here on the actual mill. So I did 200 Thursday and Friday total, and then Saturday night I did 250. So pretty much I'm just filling in this part of the tower. I'm filling in this part, a little bit of the gray down here. So that's your 450 stitches that I did. And let's see. I told you that yesterday for September 1st, or Return to Hogwarts Day, I was going to start Half-Blood Prince by Tilton Crafts. There's only 35 colors in this one. And in one day, this worked for the pop-up event that we had in School of Magical Stitches, which was work on your newest whip or newest start, which includes a newest block start, like if you're working on like a Hawk Run Hollow kind of thing that is divided into blocks, or a Sal is divided into blocks, or a full coverage page, your newest page that you started. It could be a new start, or it could be any of your like your newest whip that you started. And it was 1 point per 100 stitches for your house. So brand new start. I took off Beauty and the Beast from my 11 by 17 because they're just about the same width. So you see one corner here and the other corner is right there. So the whole width of the piece will fit on this Q-snap. And it has a single dark brown stitch border around the whole thing, some medium browns right next to it, and then it gets into the main background. So I got 902 tent stitches in one day. So 451 stitches for the pop-up event for my house, Ravenclaw, as you can see. These, I don't really need two minders on this one because I used the PDF. I just took them off Camelot and threw them on this one. So, and then, so Half-Blood Prince will be my by the numbers 2400 piece for September. So I'll get 4,800 stitches on this one, and because it's only 35 colors, I'm hoping that goes quickly. So you will see more of this one this month. Now, in Full Coverage Fanatics, the 90-day challenge, if you finish a piece before the end of the 90 days, you can continue the challenge. You just post your finished picture and post a starting picture for the next whip that you're going to use to continue the challenge. I use that same idea since Camelot is my personal 90-day challenge. I use that same idea. I'm still going to be stitching every day on a piece because I've seen such progress this whole year. So I'm still going to keep it up. And if you think about it, all right, so Camelot was a non-full coverage piece that I want to finish this year. What other non-full coverage piece do I want to finish this year? If you say Guardian Angel by Lavender Lace, you are correct. So there's what she's going to look like. So yesterday, I put some stitches into her. More on the wings here. So I did this little bit of dark down here, brought it up, and then everything you see above the line. Just a little bit every day. Can you tell? As I was stitching this, I switched to a new skein on some of these darker threads over here, and I switched to a new skein of white over here. And working on it up close, I could see a difference. So I can see a difference in the colors here. This compared to these colors, and then this white down here compared to up here. Nothing I can do about it, but it's just something that I noticed. Gotta stitch with what you got. So I will keep working on her in September. And when I was working on Camelot, I told you that since I'm going away at the end of September, it would be an 86-day challenge because I wasn't going to take Camelot on the scroll frame with me to Louisiana. Well, she's a lot more portable, and I've already taken her, on her beach trip. So it's back to a 90-day challenge. I'll keep working on her. And, everything below here is done. So I just have the top half of the angel and the rest of her wings to do. So we'll see how much I can get done in September. Because 1 October I go back to quarter 4 of Full Coverage Fanatics 90 Day. I go back to full coverage. So I want to finish her in 2019. So we'll see how close I get through the month of September. And on that note, let's talk about homework this week in School of Magical Stitches. It's before classes start. There's 3 different tasks. The first one is something that you have vowed to finish in 2019. This is because of the unbreakable vow that Snape takes to protect Draco. So something I vow to finish that needs some stitches in 2019. This one. So I'll be working on this every day, and 400 stitches of that will go towards homework this week. It's 400 stitches for 4 points. The second task is stitch on a piece where the designer or the name of the piece starts with a letter in Dursley, because Professor Dumbledore visited the Dursleys and told them to, give Harry a break, and then he has to continue to live there at least a portion of every summer. So for that, because again, I'm not done with August by the Numbers, McIntosh Mill by Dimensions. So I'll put in, 300 more stitches on homework for 3 points to work on this. And that still won't get me done for August. So, and then the third task is something that you had to be persuaded to start, or that you had FOMO over to start. And for that one, I'm going to work on these class schedule Sal by Armada Designs, which is all, Hogwarts related, because I definitely, when I heard about that Sal before anything was released, except for, the title, so you could see the class schedule in the Harry Potter font. I was like, oh yeah, I need to do this one. I'm definitely going to do this one before I saw any of the blocks released. And we all know how that turned out. So I'll put in 300 stitches on that one. So that's my homework. In Full Coverage Fanatics, the September monthly theme is Celestial. So anything with stars, sun, moon, vast expanse of sky, that kind of thing will work. And then I'm also going to work on this piece for By the Numbers 1200. Well, there's a gigantic moon for you. I have set a finish goal for this one for 2019 as well. This was my New Year, New Start. So I'll be putting, 2,400 tent stitches in on Hogwarts Travel poster for September on this one. And let's see, some prefect information, or information from a prefect concerning the School of Magical Stitches. The grading policy has changed because so many of us were blocked commenting to do grading and verifying on the posts. So now going forward, and hopefully you've all done it for your year 5 post that just ended, we're asking you to self-grade your post. Tell us how many points you think you earned. And in that way, the prefects can go in and just like that one comment if you're correct, if we think you earned the amount of points you said, we're going to like that comment. And then when we're done grading the event, we will post at the top of the event that we've graded or that we verified, and that you can go into the grading sheet and see how many points you've earned. Or, make sure we didn't make any errors and put everything in correctly. The other thing, two more things. Magical Stitches has announced that next year they will still be the School of Magical Stitches and Literature, because the book series for next year are going to be Disney related. So that's pretty cool. They've got two different young adult series, one for the good guys, one for the villains, that they're going to intermix. And there will still be 4 houses, if you will, but the houses instead will be the parks. Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and Hollywood Studios. And we'll be working as a group to build up our park for the year-long tasks, and then of course the weekly tasks will be related to the books. So that's more to come on that one. And then in Full Coverage Fanatics, and just recently created all of the big events. There'll still be some smaller ones that will be put in at a later date. But the big ones, I made a visual aid for, let's see, that light is pretty bright. So Full Coverage Fanatics, our monthly one, how come it doesn't seem to focus? It doesn't want to focus. Hopefully you can see that better than I can. Okay, so our monthly theme with no stitch requirement is around the world. We're visiting one country each month, and so there's no stitch requirement. Be creative in how your piece fits the theme, and in the event description for each month it has several different ideas to help, come up with brainstorm, if you will. I can't talk today. To help you brainstorm to figure out how you can fit your piece towards that country. The second one is the National Parks Challenge. So there are 25 parks that we've chosen out of, I think there's 61 in the United States. This is a counting challenge, so there's 4,000 full crosses per park for 1 whip. So you can switch between the parks, but for that 4,000 block of stitches, it has to be 1 whip. Unless you manage to actually finish your whip, then you can continue with another one. So 4,000 stitches per park, 25 parks. If you do the math, that's 100,000 stitches. Or that works out to 8,333 stitches per month. Now that's only full cross. For those of us who do mostly 10 stitches, we have to double everything. Yeah, so that's quite the challenge. I know there's a few crazy folks in Full Coverage Fanatics that are thinking about trying it just because it seems like a really big challenge and you might as well try it, right? I'm trying to see, since I do 10 stitches, if it's even possible for me. My only 2 full covers that are not 10 stitch are McIntosh Mill and a summer ball. Everything else is 10 stitch and would have to be doubled. So we'll see if I'm crazy enough to try to get all 25 parks done next year. And then the third big challenge is 20 and 20. So 20,000 stitches on 1 whip in the year 2020. So again, this is all year long. That's less than 2,000 stitches a month. It's very doable. And you can read the event description. You can wait and post a picture update when you get all 20,000 done, or I believe Anne said like every 1,000 or 2,000. I can't remember. You'd have to check the event description. So, and overlapping in between all 3 is allowed. So if you have a whip that works for the country we're visiting, you can also use it for national parks and count the same stitches as your 20 and 20 if you want. If you want to be crazy and do all of them all on 1 whip. So, or for those, because I know there's people that do 1 at a time, 1 full coverage piece at a time. So you can participate in all of them if you like. Let's see. I think that's it, guys. My family's in the house, so they've been kind enough to be quiet while I recorded. Yeah, I think that's it. We'll see you next week. All right, guys. Bye. Happy stitching.